I was growing up, there wasn't the same obsession with cross-channel soccer as there is today. However, due to Donegal's strong connection with Scotland and Glasgow in particular, there was always a big following for Celtic in the locality. The legendary Patsy Gallagher used to stay in the Coast Guard station, and I would have heard my father talking about him. Not only that, but we also had got to see some of the Celtic players in the flesh during the Summer Cup season. Players from other Scottish clubs like brother Bobby Tasker and Hughie Higgins, professionals in Scotland, were regular visitors in Rathmullen in my youth. I have no doubt that they helped to raise the standard locally. So for me it was a great honour to captain Finn Harps against Celtic on 2 occasions. The first game was in January '75 and it was a fundraiser for the dependents of the fishermen from Burton Port who had been lost at sea. This photo shows me with Celtic captain Jimmy Johnson and a former Celtic great Bertie Peacock. Although the game was a friendly, it was played like a cup tie with tough tackling throughout. I probably enjoyed it more that way. Unfortunately, there was torrential rain during the second half, and you can see that the state of the ground was like it was like a mud bath. The game ended 4-4. Our goals came from Charlie Ferry, Brendan Bradley and 2 from Hilary Carlisle. The Celtic scorers were Jimmy Johnson, Brian McLaughlin, Bobby Lennox and Victor Davison. The second Celtic game was a double-header friendly in July '75, which also involved Johnny Giles' team West Brom. The photo from the match programme shows the Celtic squad including a young Kenny Dalglish. Here I am exchanging club emblems with the Celtic captain Bobby Lennox. For this game we had 3 guest players playing for us: Mick Martin, Manchester United, Paddy Mulligan, then of Crystal Palace, as well as next Rangers player Alex Willoughby. Celtic were in a pre-season tour of Ireland and had beaten Dundalk 6-0 in their first game. In a hard-fought and evenly contested game, the score ended up 0-0, a very good result for us. I was very happy to be part of a defence that kept King Kenny scoreless on that occasion.
On the 25th of September 2004, Celtic Football Club cemented their status as the premier football team in Scotland with a 3-0 victory over Dunfermline. For a number of supporters at Celtic Park, this day represented more than just a win for the team in the Scottish Premier League. For these fans from County Sligo in the west of Ireland, it was a high point in the campaign to raise awareness of the story of Celtic's founder, Brother Walford, also a native of Sligo, and to raise funds for a memorial to him to be erected in his hometown. This story reduces the life of the man remembered by millions worldwide as the founder of Celtic. It also follows a campaign by a small group of Irish supporters to establish a permanent tribute to the man who would be most fondly remembered by the people of Glasgow's East End in the late 1900s as a man who helped restore their pride and self-respect.
I was at a Rangers game, Celtic Rangers game, Old Firm game in Parkhead, and we were over along with the Donegal Association, and we were sitting back in the Marriott Hotel. And this man came up to me and said, Paddy, I love what you're trying to do in Ballymote. I'm a Sligo man. He says, in that game today, he says, the hair in the back of my neck just stood up. He said, the atmosphere was so electric. He says, I'd love to do something for you. He says, I'll walk to Celtic Park from Ballymote. And I says, Eugene, I says, no way to do. I says, see Monday when you're sober, give me a phone. And he says, Paddy, I don't drink. He says, but he says, I'll talk to you now about it. I says, no, I says, I'm drinking, we'll talk Monday. And then, of course, during that course, Eugene's best friend and colleague Jim Sheridan came along. And he said, Paddy, my legs might play up. He says, so don't put me down as walking, but I'll be his walk manager. Actually, Jim walked the whole way as well.
With planning completed, the first day of the walk had arrived. Eugene and Jim got themselves prepared, making sure their feet were attended to very carefully. Many committee and family members turned out on the day to see them off and gave them a few last words of encouragement. It was decided to commence the walk to Glasgow from within the crumbled walls of Brother Walford's place of birth. The significance of this was not lost on the committee, who felt that to mirror Walford's journey from start to end would make it all the more poignant and symbolic for those involved. But for Jim, what was it about Brother Walford campaign that turned him from part-time walk manager to full-time walk participant and venture on the near 200 miles to Celtic Park?
Naturally, at the back of our mind, we realised what we were walking for. It was something that a target had been set. We had to achieve a goal, and it was going to take an awful lot to stop us from achieving that goal. We had to go over there. We had to recognise that Brother Wilford had done this years back, and we were gathering funds as well to erect a memorial to him in Ballymote. So that spurred us on. Once we started the walk, it was going to take an awful lot to stop us from finishing it.
On the 23rd of September 2004, the sponsored walk had reached Scotland. On Friday the 24th, Eugene and Jim had reached Newton Mearns in the suburbs of Glasgow. It was the 8th day of the walk. What made this day special was that they were welcomed to Glasgow by Celtic legend Sean Fallon, who in another magical coincidence is himself a native of County Sligo. It proved to be one of the highlights of the journey.
Hey lads, you're very welcome. How are you doing, Sean? Well done. Great to meet you. What are you doing? You did a great job.
That was our first stop in Glasgow, really, Sean Fallon's house. The hospitality that we received there was unique, really. Something, I suppose, that people who know Sean Fallon would come to expect. I knew Sean Fallon, so did Eugene, but we never would have experienced that hospitality from him. We were made to feel like part of the family, really, and himself and Myra really made us feel at home. And it was brilliant that we were walking into a house of Sean Fallon, a legend in Glasgow and a legend back here in Sligo, and the hospitality was just out of this world.
Sean Fallon could indeed be described as a Celtic legend. Born 15 miles from Ballymote in Sligo town in 1922, he joined Celtic as a player in 1950, and later on was assistant manager to Jock Stein in the 1960s and 1970s. Sean played a vital part as Stein's right-hand man in Celtic's greatest ever moment, the lifting of the European Cup in Lisbon in '67. And on Saturday the 25th of September 2004, the walkers were preparing for the final leg of their journey from Ballymote to Celtic Park. The team were welcomed at the stadium front door by club officials and former Sligo Rovers manager and current Celtic youth team coach Willie McStay. But it was when the walkers were introduced to the Celtic crowd at half-time that the extent of their achievement really hit home.
Half-time when we were planned to be led on to the park, it was very, very difficult to describe the feeling, because Eugene and Jim, first of all, had trained for months and months for it. We had done a lot of the preparations, but we were enjoying the moment as well. And I says, go out there now, Jim. I said, just enjoy. Don't be nervous or nothing. I says, this moment will go by. The thing that struck me as a regular visitor to a season ticket holder in the park was normally everybody goes away at half-time, you know, but everybody seemed to stay. Okay, there might have been a bit of publicity, but people were throwing scarves, they were running down and giving Eugene money. People that we'd known from Ireland were coming down from top tiers to shake hands. And once we were round the first corner, the first lap, it was just unbelievable. The clapping was going on in the other end as well, even though we weren't there, and the whole stadium. And then we could see, I says to Eugene, look up now, you're on the screen. And it was just totally magic, and words kind of are very difficult to describe the emotion and everything else.
Words would be hard to describe the way I felt walking around the field. It was an unbelievable experience to think there that 60,000 people were standing clapping me and Jim for doing the walk.
come Sunday the 24th of October, the site within the local park in Ballymoot was ready. Celtic chairman Brian Quinn unveiled the monument alongside Sean Fallon and revealed his pride in doing so, along with his own personal connection with Sligo and his brother Walford.
Memorial erected now to Brother Walford that he certainly deserved, and it's a very, very significant period in the culture of Ballymoot and Sligo, that Brother Walford, who gave so much to Glasgow Celtic and the people of Glasgow way back in those 1800s, and who left Ballymoot as a child, really has been honoured at long last, and it was worth every step of the way, and I'll do it again tomorrow. The following year, a statue of Brother Walford was erected outside Celtic Park, and I was delighted to be officially invited to the unveiling ceremony. Unfortunately, Eugene could not attend as he was on a charity walk in Cuba.